The rise of Islam in the UK is largely ignored in American media, but our next guests say that there's an all-out war on Christianity across the pond. So here to break it down for us is Calvin Robinson, British conservative commentator, writer, and an ordained priest in the Nordic Catholic Church. And in studio with us is Matthew Marsden, actor and Blaze TV contributor. So Calvin, let's start with you. Can you just tell us why there's so much unrest right now in the UK?
First of all, hey, Matthew Marsden, didn't know you were going to be here too, buddy. How are you? The unrest in the United Kingdom is not entirely unexpected. This has been coming for a long, long time, but there was one particular incident that sparked it in the last few days. It was the unfortunate killing of 3 innocent girls and the serious injury of 11 more at a Taylor Swift dance place. A young 17-year-old man attacked these innocent girls. And the mainstream media and the politicians, the establishment as a whole, including the police, tried to sweep it under the carpet. They wouldn't tell us who he was, where he came from, what his motivation was. And so people started speculating when they saw that he didn't look Welsh. And then they found out that, his parents were from Rwanda. And so people were asking, is this down to mass immigration? Now, it may be, or it may not be, but the fact that the establishment don't want to give us the details makes everyone come to conclusions in their own minds. And so while we were mourning as a country the loss of these three beautiful little girls, people got upset, people got angry, and it's righteous anger, absolutely. But the problem is some of that spilled over into violence. But the violence has been sporadic all over the country by different people of different demographics. And again, the mainstream establishment, from the media to the politicians to the police, have come out and said, these people are all far-right thugs. And so the British people are saying, well, we're not far-right and we're not thugs. We're upset and we're angry and we're frustrated at you. And then we've seen Mohammedans come out and protest and riot with machetes and planks of wood, beating white Britons, damaging cars, private property. And then the police, the mainstream media and the politicians come out and say, we need to protect our Muslim communities more. And so the British people are saying, wait a minute, you're ostracizing us, denigrating us, calling us far-right thugs, and then you're protecting the people who are attacking us. What's going on with the balance? Where's policing without fear or favour? This is a 2-tiered system. On top of that, we've got the fact that people are being rushed through the court system. So anyone that's involved in these riots is being rushed through and sent to prison at the same time as people who've committed serious crimes over the last few months are still waiting for their time in court, never mind in prison. At the same time as the first thing our Prime Minister said when he came into office a month ago was that our prisons are full. There's no room in the prisons. We're going to have to start letting people out early. None of it seems to add up, is what this comes down to. And people are fed up, angry, upset, and it's going to get a bit worse.
Matthew Marsden, you are a UK citizen, and now you live here. And what's it like for you watching all of this unfold back there?
Well, I think that Calvin just absolutely crystallized it perfectly. I think that we've had, certainly since I've been in America, which is nigh on 25 years now, is that you've seen regular folk who have been very accepting of people coming into the country. All they continually be told is that they're racist, that they're this, that they're that. Even when something happens, for example, there's a terrorist attack and the police don't come out and say, look, this is Islamic terror. They're like, we don't understand. We don't know the cause for this. It's like just giant gaslighting. So what you've had over all this period of time is the British people being put second. It's happened over here, but you have maybe two generations now of young Brits that are like, we have no prospects. We keep on getting told that we are bad people, that we're racist, when we're not racist, when we're completely accepting of these people. But you have to call a spade, as it were, and just say, look, this is wrong, and that's not happening. So you're getting this culmination of demonizing one group of people. As Calvin said, other people are getting off. And there is this 2-tier justice system. And again, as Calvin said, this was a catalyst. This event with these 3 beautiful girls who got murdered is just a catalyst for years and years and years of epic gaslighting from feckless leaders in the UK.
So one question I have for both of you, because it's very troubling to me to see this go on, but another way, it sort of at least is something. And what you see all over Europe as well are these populist uprisings, these people who are very upset, but nothing ever happens. No one ever represents them. And it strikes me that that's maybe what's going on here. And what will happen? I mean, will they be represented?
It's not possible in our current system. So from the media, we've got our mainstream broadcasters, so the BBC, our state broadcaster, Sky, Rupert Murdoch's channel over in this country, have been gaslighting continuously. First and foremost, they blamed the riots on the English Defence League, which hasn't existed since 2013, just so they could say it's far right. And whilst we see on the streets the Muslim Defence League have been out causing trouble, but no one addresses that. And so the media is gaslighting. The politicians, the centre-right party has just been voted out of office last month. So we have the centre-left party, which is probably more far left at this point in office. They're not going to help us. They don't care about the working classes. They don't care about the ordinary folk. We have the Reform Party, who just won 5 seats, who are slightly further to the right. However, their leader, Nigel Farage, has quickly become establishment and throwing people under the bus, saying, I have nothing to do with these far-right thugs such as Tommy Robinson, just dropping people under the bus left, right and centre to protect his own bacon. So there's no one standing up for ordinary folk. So actually, I think the violence will get worse, and that's a great shame because, as I said before, we have to be angry, righteous indignation. But when we let that fall over into violence, we're letting ourselves down and everyone else. But there is no democratic means to fix things. So what else can we do? What is the solution?
Marsden?
No, I agree 100%. I don't think there's anyone representing the regular rank and file Brits over there, you know, the working class that have been disenfranchised. They've been told that they're evil, they're bad people for years and years and years. And like you said, unfortunately, Farage has now collapsed, as they say, like a flan in a cupboard, because at the smallest push now, he has backed off. He's thrown people like Tommy Robinson under the bus. And so, again, that inflames people even more because we don't have anyone that is strong enough to stand up and represent people. And I've said this over and over, that I'm not condoning any kind of violence in any way, shape or form. I don't think anyone, that they're both as bad as each other if they're going to cause violence. But this has been 25 years in the making, if not longer. What else are they going to do to have their feelings heard? And what's even worse is when there's violence on the left, like we saw with the Black Lives Matter, with what's going on with the Muslim Defence League here, everyone wants to run to understand them. Why is it they feel like this? What is this? They must be reacting to something, like someone who's being bad to them. But when it ends, when you start talking about regular Brits, and I'm not just talking about white, right? Because this isn't a race thing, right? It's not. Islam is not a race, right? People keep trying to say it's a race thing, but Islam is not a race. These people are massively disenfranchised and they don't have a say in their own country.
Well, and they can't run online and say what they want to say because let's go ahead and listen to this soundbite from the UK earlier this week.
The offence of incitement to racial hatred involves publishing or distributing material which is insulting or abusive, which is intended to or likely to start racial hatred. So if you retweet that, then you're republishing that, and then potentially you're committing that offence. And we do have dedicated police officers who are scouring social media. Their job is to look for this material and then follow up with identification, arrests, and so forth. So it's a really, really serious. People might think they're not doing anything harmful. They are, and the consequences will be visited upon them.
Calvin, what's your reaction when you hear that?
You heard that right. He's got police officers scouring the internet looking for retweets to arrest people. I mean, this is 1984 in practice. This is 2024. When we don't have police to arrest people who are burgling, committing knife crimes, which are at all-time highs in this country, we have police to sit on the internet looking for people retweeting things that may be wrong. You know, a few years ago, I used to see people with things in their bios on Twitter saying retweets are not endorsements. And I used to think, why are they putting that? What a waste of characters. But now I understand it, because the government in the UK is going to hold you accountable for things that other people have said. And a lot of this actually does come down to Twitter, because we've seen the Met Police Chief, and we've seen the Prime Minister, and we've seen the DPP there all saying this is down to social media, this is down to retweets. And what they're getting at is that they keep saying they want to stop the spread of misinformation. And that's a very important word that they're using when they talk about the spreading of misinformation, because misinformation might be something that's true or not true, but spread under false pretensions, or spread out of mistake, not knowing. Whereas disinformation is when you spread something on purpose to cause offence or to spread misinformation on purpose. So what the police and the government are saying when they say they want to stop misinformation spreading is they want to stop information spreading that they don't see as true, that we may see as true, but they don't. And in a world where there are a plurality of truths, that's quite scary when there's only one approved narrative.
Marsden, you get the final word on this.
Yeah, they're trying to say right now that they are going to try and ban Twitter. I heard from someone that they were saying they were going to try and pass legislation so that in some way, shape or form, they will ban Twitter, which is just going to make things even worse. And I think that a lot of Brits don't understand. They think that they have freedom of speech. They clearly don't have freedom of speech, and they don't have anything in there. They don't have a constitution like we do that protects our freedom of speech. It's just a tradition of. They're in a lot of trouble. This isn't going away anytime soon. And I think that after COVID, people have realized, listen, you are not taking away my rights anymore. They've kind of woken up to it. And so I think that this is not a good thing for England in the sense, and Great Britain in the sense that the violence is not going to stop. The more they clamp down, they're also doing something, by the way, called Operation Scatter. So they're taking the people in the hotels and they're scattering them around the country. This is just a recipe for disaster.